Story 4: Gordon's Triumph. Gordon had been good for several days. He'd been working hard on the express trains to try and make up for his not so good first year. Soon the seasons changed from summer to autumn, and Gordon was starting to show everyone that he could be a success. While Gordon was finally proving himself to be a valuable asset to the railway, it did come with a price. Not for anyone that major, just for one engine. Much like Gordon, she was big, blue, and very fast. She had no name, just a number, 98462. Despite this, the engines had taken to calling her Princess, a rather fitting name that matched her spoiled and entitled attitude. She had originally been sent to the railway on trial, however she ended up being painted in northwestern colours, and it didn't seem like she was going anywhere anytime soon. She had been put on fast passenger duties, often pulling the big express. However, since Gordon's arrival, she found herself being put on regular passenger work, and in some cases, even on goods. This made her very cross. "None of this is fair," she complained one day in the yards. She was going on another one of her rants, as Thomas shunted a train of trucks for her. "At least you have work," Thomas said grumpily. "If it wasn't for the fat director, you'd probably be stuck in the shed. I don't know what he sees in you." Princess snorted. "I am a luxurious express engine built for speed. It's only thanks to that big blue blowhard Gordon that I've been demoted. I don't deserve this treatment. Hey!" Thomas gave her a rude bump as he shunted a long line of trucks onto the back of her tender. "Get over yourself," he said rudely. "Your train is done, so get going." Princess snorted crossly and flounced away. Later she was complaining to a friend of hers. While this engine did have a name, very few actually knew it. She mostly got called by her number, 87546. But to Princess, she was Fee, her only companion. "It's honestly disgusting the way that they've treated me," Princess complained loudly. "Do they realize who I am?" Fee rolled her eyes. I mean, come on," Princess continued. "I am one of the finest engines ever built. This railway wanted an Atlantic, they got one, and now they've just thrown me aside." "You are the railway's golden girl," said Fee with little emotion. Not that she ever really showed much anyways. Princess sighed dramatically. "Ugh, I have had it with this backwards railway. There's got to be a way to get eyes back on me." There was a bit of a silence before Fee spoke up. "I mean, if you found a way to show Gordon's weakness, then the directors will start to doubt his abilities," finished Princess. "Then they'll realize that I'm the better choice for the express, and I'll get my train back." "Oh joy," said Fee, cracking a rare smile. "Then I can finally have some peace around here." Princess just giggled and puffed cheerfully away, trying to think of a plan. I could try to get him to go too fast again. Give the passengers something to complain about. But, they might end up liking his speed even more. It'll only make my job harder. I cannot rely on cheap tricks. I need something better." Princess had steamed so far into the yards that she ended up into a part that was no longer used. This was where old rolling stock was kept. She looked around as she saw rusty trucks and dusty coaches. She cringed. "Ew, I didn't mean to go this far. This whole area is really gross." "Are you here to take me out?" creaked a voice from the corner. Princess looked up, her eyes darting around the area. "Who's that? Show yourself." A small chuckle came from the corner of the yards. Princess looked over and saw an old luggage van sitting on a nearby siding. The van was a sight for sore eyes, with chipped paint, cracked windows, and rusty couplings. And who are you?" snorted Princess. "And who do you think that you're laughing at?" "I've been here a good year or two," grinned the van. "It's been an awfully long time since I've spoken to anyone." Princess blinked, confused. That didn't really answer my question." "You wish to play a trick on someone, and I wish to leave these yards," the van interrupted. "Perhaps we could help each other out." How could you possibly help me?" "My couplings are rusty, old and weak," smirked the van. "Couple me onto the head of the train that you wish to do over, and I shall handle the rest." Princess thought. It seemed very risky, and she knew that it would be very dangerous. But then she had an idea. We cannot risk anything happening to the passengers. Now, if you were to break away from Gordon on the hill, and I would be at the bottom waiting to catch the coaches, the passengers will see how brave I am and how reckless Gordon is. He'll be kicked from the railway and I'll be in charge of the express again. The loony old luggage van laughed maniacally. Oh, yes, yes. Excellent, excellent, excellent. We have a deal, you and me. What fun it'll be. And with the deal set, Princess rolled away back to the sheds, leaving the rickety old van still chuckling to himself. The next morning, Princess woke up bright and early. She made sure to be especially awake before Thomas. As she was getting steam up, Thomas began to stir. What's going on? He yawned, half asleep. Oh, I'm off to fetch the express coaches from the yards, said Princess cheerfully. Give you a little break from your hard work. Oh, thanks, I mean 98462, yawned Thomas, and he went back to sleep. Aw, sleep well, Thomas. The big engine smiled sweetly. It wasn't genuine. Princess hurried away to the yards to fetch the coaches. Once all the regular express coaches had been shunted and coupled up, she went back to the far side of the yards to collect her new ally. Oh joy, I can't wait. This'll be so much fun, fun, fun! Princess laughed. Exactly! Gordon won't know what hit him. The luggage van grinned, shaking in excitement, as he was shunted onto the front of the train. Princess then shuffled all of the coaches to the express platform. It was so early in the morning, none of the passengers had even arrived yet. This'll teach them who to mess with, she thought. I am the princess of this railway, and this express duty is mine. A little while later, Gordon shuffled into the station to fetch his passengers. He was very surprised to see the coaches on the platform so early. Huh, Thomas must have done his job properly for once, he thought to himself. Princess was sat nearby. She had a goods train to take to Kildane and was due to leave after Gordon. Everything was falling perfectly into place. Good luck, Gordon, she cooed. Gordon was rather taken aback. He knew the Atlantic wasn't his biggest fan. Thanks 98462, he replied awkwardly. The guard blew his whistle and a very confused Gordon puffed away. Princess chuckled to herself. Once I've dropped off these goods at Kildane, I'll head straight to the hill. Things are finally going my way. As Gordon rolled down the line, he couldn't help but notice the coupling on the luggage van felt rather loose. He soon became rather worried. This van isn't fit for the express, he thought. I'll have to be careful. When Gordon stopped at the workstation, he asked his driver to inspect the van. He agreed and wasn't impressed. This luggage van is old, and its couplings are faulty, he cried. Why, this shouldn't even be on the train at all. Gordon was worried, but he didn't want to be late. We have no time to take it off, he said. Is there a way that we can tighten the coupling? The crew all thought of what they could do. Then the guard spoke up. I've got some rope in my compartment. We could tie it around the van's coupling and loop it around Gordon's. It's not perfect, but hopefully it will hold over the hill. It's risky, said the driver, but we must keep to time. Then do it, cried Gordon. I'll be extra careful for the rest of the trip. And so with that, the plan was put into action. As this was going on, the van said nothing, and simply let it happen, with a big grin on his face. It wasn't long until Princess came puffing in with her train of trucks. She went to say something snarky, but she stopped when she saw what the crew were doing. She started to get rather worried. Oh, nah, it'll be fine. I can still work with this, she thought to herself. Soon, it was time for Gordon to leave. He was now running a few minutes behind schedule. He rolled carefully out of the station, making sure that the rope didn't snap. I can't afford to make another mistake, he thought to himself. Fortunately, the rope held firmly in place, and Gordon was soon hurrying down the line once again. Hurry, hurry, hurry! They rocketed past Kildane, where Princess was dropping off her trucks. She slyly watched as Gordon rolled by. That goofy van better not fail. Oi! Interrupted the foreman. Can you shut these trucks into place? Oh, but I've got places to be, moaned Princess. Yeah, well, so do I. Now get to it. Princess snorted and began to shunt the trucks away. This is so below me, she thought to herself. Thank God I won't have to pull goods trains for long. Soon Gordon reached the hill. He knew this would be the hard part, as he felt the coupling and rope tighten on the van. He began to slow down as to not snap the rope, but he could feel the weight of the train behind him. It began to hold him back. Come on, he huffed. Don't be silly, don't be silly. The van just laughed and began to hold back. Careful, Big Blue. Make sure my coupling doesn't snap. You wouldn't want to end up a pile of scrap. Gordon ignored the van and its nonsense and put all of his efforts into slowly getting the train up the hill, but his coaches were heavy. The old luggage van's couplings creaked and the rope began to stretch. I can't get stuck here again. This time I have to try. I must try. At that moment, Princess arrived. She looked on at the sight and smirked. Looks like another accident's going to happen if silly old Gordon isn't careful, she said to herself. She rolled slowly behind the train, waiting for the coupling to break, but nothing happened. Gordon wasn't going to let anything bad happen to his passengers. He had made far too many mistakes, and he wasn't about to make another one. Lives could be at stake here. Right, Princess thought. I see what needs to happen. And Princess buffled up onto the back of the train and began holding back. Gordon groaned as he felt the train go heavier. The coupling on the luggage van creaked and a bolt came loose. Come on, he winced. Heave ho, you can pull but I won't go, sang the luggage van. But Gordon was determined. He gave one last big effort and pulled the train as hard as he could. Sparks came erupting from his funnel like a volcano. Princess was losing the battle. She was no match for Gordon. This way to me, she hissed to the coaches. I'm not letting my express go. But she had no say in the matter, because with one last big effort, Gordon crested the top of the hill. The van's chain began to even out, and soon followed Gordon over the summit. The coaches quickly followed. Princess was furious. No, this isn't fair. But no matter how hard she tried to hold back, Gordon could now easily overpower her as he began to roll down the other side. It's all downhill from here, he whistled. He'd never been more proud of himself. He went so fast down the hill, Princess was unable to keep up. Slow down! But Gordon didn't hear her. In an ironic twist of fate, Princess felt her own coupling snap, and she was left behind, skidding down the hill in fright. Gordon rocketed away, with the luggage van cackling like a madman behind him. Princess quickly brought herself to a stop, and watched as her train went around the bend, under the bridge, and was gone from sight. Soon Gordon reached the other end of the line. He was a little late, but the passengers didn't mind. After everyone had disembarked, to Gordon's surprise, the fat director arrived. He had been on his train, and he was smiling. I'll admit, Jordan, I haven't been best pleased with your behaviour to start with. Yes, sir, I understand, Gordon said hastily. He blushed with embarrassment as he reflected on his behaviour over the last year. The fat director cleared his throat. But after seeing how well you've managed on the Peel Goods Red Line, as well as on the Express, it's clear to me that you can be a really useful engine. Oh well, thank you, sir, Gordon smiled modestly. Keep up the good work, Jordan, said the fat director, smiling back. If you're really good, sometimes I may even let you take director's trains. How's that? Oh yes, sir, Gordon beamed. I'll be as good as gold from now on, don't you worry. Good. Keep up the good work, Jordan. I look forward to be on your trains in the future. And with that, the fat director walked away, leaving a much more humble Gordon behind. You know, maybe this railway isn't so bad after all. But he said that bit to himself. And what about Princess? She slinked feebly into the yards later that evening. She looked all over the place, searching for that van. She soon found him, parked on the end of a siding in front of a small stream. Princess was fuming. Like, what the hell was that? She demanded. You were meant to break away from the train, and I was meant to catch it, saving the passengers. You didn't even try! The van looked at Princess with a raised bushy eyebrow and winked. Do you really think that there's an ounce of loyalty in me? All I wanted was to have one last run, one big hurrah! And I got that. Princess stared. Her eye twitched. So you're telling me I helped you for nothing? I wouldn't really say it was for nothing. We had so much fun. What a grand adventure. Would do it again in a heartbeat. And the van started to laugh again. His manic cackle and howls filled the air as Princess stared angrily at him in utter disbelief and betrayal. You lying little, and Princess jerked violently forward. There was a terrible crash. Princess opened her eyes and looked onto the sight in front of her. She had smashed the van right through the buffers and into the stream. Princess looked out at the murky waters, staring at the waterlogged luggage van. He was even more battered, with chunks of wood being thrown clear. His door was now on its hinges, and one of his wheels appeared to now be missing. Despite his injuries, the van still softly chuckled. Guess you can't please everyone. Princess said nothing. She simply rolled away and headed back to the sheds.